Coronation Street's Vicky Myers teases drama for Carla and Lisa as Becky returns. Fortunately, actress Vicky Myers has reassured fans that the couple still has a good chance of overcoming their issues and walking down the aisle. Since I'm already tempted to buy a new wedding hat, I asked her if the Ibiza ceremony was still going ahead as planned when I met her at the Inside Soap Awards. I'm not sure because the location was never firmly decided, but with any luck there'll be wedding bells, Vicky said, after picking up prizes for Best Actress and Best Partnership. But this is a soap, so anything can happen. We know trouble is coming, so we'll just have to wait and see. Hopefully, I'd like that myself. Although Vicky didn't reveal much, it's very likely that the drama will be linked to Becky, who is already trying hard to win back her wife and daughter. Her behavior has irritated Carla and caused her to snap at Becky more than once. Still, to be fair, Carla has shown remarkable patience so far. The decision to reintroduce Becky into Lisa's storyline has split viewers, and even Vicky admitted she wasn't thrilled about it in the beginning. No offense to Amy, but my first reaction was, oh no. Then when we explored Lisa and Becky's past together, how they met, their bond, their history, I realized it actually made for a compelling plot. Where it all ends, I don't know, but right now I think it's a story worth telling. This indicates the storyline is far from finished, with Vicky promising that there is still much more ahead. We've been putting in a lot of hard work, and the writers have done a fantastic job. Fans have been engaging with messages, edits, and reels. It's fascinating because people are noticing different layers to the relationships and tensions. Let's just see what comes next. Corey has a packed calendar coming up, including the 65th anniversary and the much-anticipated crossover with Emmerdale. Using my detective skills, I couldn't help but notice Vicky might be part of the crossover, as she hinted she would be taking her awards on the train back to Leeds tomorrow. And what's in Leeds? Naturally, the Emmerdale set and village. Could we see D.S. Swain solving cases in the Dales? There's no shortage of mysteries there. Filming begins on Corriedale. It has now been confirmed that production is underway for the special Coronation Street and Emmerdale crossover episode titled Corriedale. For the first time, characters from both soaps will appear together in a one-hour event full of action and excitement. Scheduled to broadcast in early 2026 on ITV, STV, ITVX, and YouTube, the Weatherfield residents will team up with their Yorkshire neighbors. The episode will also launch a new soap Power Hour format with Emmerdale at 8 p.m. followed by Coronation Street at 8:30 p.m. Tim's set to betray Sally in Coronation Street with shocking blast from the past. When Tim picks up a fare in his taxi, he quickly realizes the passenger is none other than his old flame from the 1980s, Tricia Pinkerton. Not long after, Tim heads to the Rovers to try and lift Kevin Webster's spirits after his marriage collapse, but to his surprise, Tricia walks into the pub. Tim tells Kevin, Steve and Tyrone that she's an ex-girlfriend. While Steve and Tyrone find it amusing, Kevin is instantly wary. Kevin worries Tim might be drawn into straying from Sally with this woman, and he remains very protective of his former wife. His concern seems justified because when Tricia shows up at the cab office the following day, it's clear she has her eye on reconnecting with Tim. Things escalate when Sally arrives at the office, sees Tricia there, and accuses Tim of spending time with his ex. After Sally leaves, Tim chats to Brian about his past with Tricia and drops a disturbing revelation. He admits that when they first got together, Tricia was nearly 20, while he was only 14, below the legal age of consent. Brian, being a former teacher, is horrified. So horrified, in fact, that when Tricia later calls again looking for Tim, Brian bluntly tells her off and accuses her of grooming him when he was a child. Tricia reacts angrily, and Tim rushes to defend her, but Brian stands firm, insisting Tim needs to accept the truth. At 14, he was taken advantage of by a woman much older than him. Later, Sally questions Tim further about Tricia and is left stunned when he confesses that he lost his virginity to her. With Trisha pushing to re-enter Tim's life, he faces a painful dilemma. Will he give in to her advances, or finally recognize that what happened between them all those years ago was abuse? Shock Coronation Street comeback as major character returns and rescues Asha. Despite being left deeply scarred by brutal conversion therapy, Todd has fallen into a toxic and unsafe relationship with Theo, whose outbursts swing between violent rages and cold, calculated cruelty. Todd had tried to end things after Theo shoved kebab into his mouth while belittling him, but Theo managed to manipulate his way back into Todd's life. Since moving in together, Theo's behavior has spiraled further, with his anger exploding when Todd didn't share his grief over conversion therapist Noah Headley's death. He even bristled at the idea of George Shuttleworth popping in for a casual drink. During a night out in Manchester's gay village with Sean, James, Mary, Glenda, and Christina, tensions only grew worse. Already fuming when James playfully joked with Todd, Theo lost control when Owen confronted him, making clear that he too had been subjected to Theo's abusive ways. Owen refused to let Theo use his own trauma as justification, calling out his manipulative behavior, while Theo twisted events to cast himself as the victim. Theo brushed the incident off to Todd as nothing more than an altercation with strangers, but Todd later discovered a photo of him with Owen on his phone. Furious, Theo accused Todd of being controlling. He admitted Owen was an ex, but painted him as the abuser in their relationship while insisting he was the wronged one. The row escalated as Theo accused Todd of flirting with James, then stormed out alone into Canal Street. The next day, when Theo failed to return, Todd grew anxious. Matters worsened when Theo's phone was handed into the cabin, though he secretly slipped in and out of their flat after Gary Windus mentioned Todd's panic. Coming up next week, as Todd vents his worries to George, Theo crosses Victoria Garden and comes across Asha Alahan collapsed after taking a dangerous cocktail of drink and drugs. Asha has been struggling in silence, shaken by her paramedic work, and reeling from a horrific shift where she was spat at and racially abused by a drunk patient. Her pain has been compounded by the absence of her twin brother Adi, who recently moved to India, leaving her without her closest support. Theo calls out for help, leading to Asha being rushed to hospital. Later, Todd finally comes face to face with Theo again and berates him for disappearing. But Amy Barlow points out the truth. Theo may have saved Asha's life. With Theo once more holding power over Todd, how will he cope with this unsettling twist? Coronation Street airs on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays at 8 p.m. on ITV1 and streams on ITVX.